You can see the code here. What I've got is very basic. It starts up, the LEDs turn on one after the other after 1 second. So I'm going to actually make that a bit faster because who wants to sit through that? So we'll just really quickly just show you how it works. Flashing the code to the photon. There we go. Photon. Next. And there you go. All right. So that's that. What I'm going to want to do is I have this battery board for charging batteries, and I would like to be able to monitor without needing to sign in and check the console. Or I'm going to set this up so that the LEDs actually will change based off of the actual percentage. So I have a bunch of timers and delays and stuff like that that I've got for other stuff. So I'm just going to grab the code for those. And there's my dog walking in because he's so quiet. So I know all this code works. I'm just going to really quickly grab it and throw it together here. This dog. Bulldogs drag their feet, so it's a lot of shook, 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 shooka, shooka. He really wants to be here with me, so it's pretty cute. All right. So step enable is false, step enable in millis. So what I've got going on right here is a basic timer loop. So I have a step delay of oh, sorry, I actually should have it in here. Int step delay equals, we'll make it 1 second. So every second I want it to do something. The step timer is whatever the current time is. So step timer equals millis. In this case, I'm setting this up so that if I've said go ahead and check against the step, then do your thing. So I'm just going to leave that Boolean, set that Boolean to true. So this will go, all right, well, I'm going to check every second and reset the timer. I'm going to do this thing here just for the sake of checking it, where each one is just going to pick a random color. And then show the thing and then wait another second and see what happens. So let's see if that works. Check the code. Code's verified. Okay. So what should happen is this should, once the code is reset, there we go, firmware is updating. This will go white, so 1, 2, 3, 4 white. And then every second it should go new color, new color, new color, all 4 at once. New color, new color. 1 there. Okay. So this means every second I've got a change going on. Every second choosing a new random color, and that's great. What I really want it to do is it should choose the random color, or really it should go whatever color it's going to be, so red or green. Say red is for charging and green is for charged. I'm going to get it to go red and then fade back down. So red, fade back down, red, fade back down. All right, so what I'll have is another timer set up. My LED transition code. Where I do a map. You see here, R curve. There we go. Maybe I should just grab this whole thing because I know it works great. And just change it for the transition. Make a transition function, throw that code in there, and I'll say trans enable instead of step enable, trans timer, and trans delay. There we go, trans timer. I like doing this so that I can comment out a single line. Okay. I need to change some of these values because some of these variable names because I'm alright. Step. What the point will be is to get the LEDs to transition from whatever color they're in, whatever color they are, to, in my case, I want it to go just to blank, to black. So, let me see here, R last, R new. So R last being whatever the color is. So I'm mapping between the two values. So if you ever use map, it takes four values. Your value that you want to map with a range. So my last value to 0, for instance, and okay, let's change some of this stuff here. Oh, I don't want to change on-off toggle. I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff because I don't want it. There we go, trans count. All right, so okay. So the idea is that when you're using a transition, using map, you say, in this case I'm using trans count, so transition count, my transition length, 0 to, I want however many number of steps. And I want it to happen over the course of 1 second, for instance. This is going to happen in 1 second. So I want it to transition from the red to black in 1 second. So my trans delay, for instance, so I'm going to set these up now. Int trans delay will be, I say I want 10 steps. So I want my delay to be 100 milliseconds. I want my trans timer to basically be set up every time it's set, every time it's reset. So that's how that goes. Trans enable, it's false. Those are my R last, R new, R cur. So I'm gonna have to add in R new. It's funny, I separate these by their color, so like G new, R new, B new, but this is just one long list, so I'm declaring them all like this, but honestly I could declare them in one long list. I just like to separate them all by their color. So yeah, I'm not using the, oop, take those out. So this will probably come back with a ton of oh yeah, so I want to set, when this triggers, I want to set trans count to be 0 and trans enable to be true. So every time this triggers its new color, r last equals 200, r last, g last, b last. I'm going to get this to stop picking random, so it's going to be there you go, like this, r last. I want to think it's GRB, so I'm just going to do it real quick and say GRB. I can double check. Oh yeah, so you can see here I've got GRB here. Since I'm using one set, like it's not super important, but when you want to actually control the color beyond, like you want to know what color you're going to have, it's probably a good idea. So in this case, do that. Okay, so let's test. I want R new equals 0, G new equals 0, B new equals, actually it's funny, I can set these right at the beginning, but it doesn't really matter. So there we go. So this possibly, we'll see if it passes the the compile test. It probably won't, we'll see. No, trans count not this, trans count, translen, and okay. Okay, translen is how many steps I want to have, so I'm going to say 10, and then what was the other one? Trans count, I think, right? Yeah, trans count. Right. Oops. There. Let's try that again. Well, that's exciting. Okay, so let's see. So this should go to red and then fade to black. Red, fade to black, red, fade to black, like every second. And then the delay for the transition is 100 milliseconds, so it should fade to black and then go back to red. We'll find out. All right, so obviously what I want to do is I want it to be red, not, I'm going to say 50 for these, just see what happens. So I need to change these values, do it again, because it wasn't red. It's white, and you set all numbers the same. Oh, look at this. So this particular strand isn't GRB. This particular strand is RGB. So let's try that again. It's very pink. So what we'll do is we're going to drop these values. Okay, so that's sort of what I'm looking for. What I'd really like to see it do is go tap, 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 tap. Red, 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 red. So probably what I need to do is change my transition to be way slower. Maybe, oh, I got an idea. Okay, instead of doing it this way, which is like insane, let's just go back. I have a better idea. This is where you test how many undos you can do. All right. Let's just recheck this because I'm gonna do something. All right. So instead of, trying to get each one to do their thing, what I'll do instead is I'll say step count. Oh, I don't need to do that, so there we go. Instead of doing this for loop, if step count is less than pixel count, step count equals 0. And instead of, I'm going to move these to here. This is still going to do its transition. I'm just going to clean up my line breaks because there. So instead of that, I'm going to, instead of like doing the whole row, strip.show, step count equals 0. That's a loop. Step count plus. There. So this should be step count equals 0. So as long as it's less than the number of pixels that are there, you go back to 0 and start over. Oop, I already did that. There we go. Loop. And if not, go plus. So what we want to start with is move it underneath here. There. And should double check. Let's double check, see if that makes sense. Yep. And redefinition of int step count. Whoa, oops. Do I have step count already? Oh, I do. Look at that. Boop. But I'm not using it for anything else, so I'm just going to take it out from the second definition, keep it, use it. All right, let's try this again. So what should happen this time is it should go white, red, or white, red, transition down, red, transition down. Let's see what happens. And the white is just a initialization for me so I can see it there. 1. There we go. Oh, no, wait. So what do you think I've done wrong here? Step count is less than pixel count. Oh, wrong way. Okay, so as long as step count is less than pixel count, there. If step count is greater than pixel count, get it to 0. Let's try that one again. All right, one more time here. Boop. Yeah, see. It should be less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. All right, let's try again. If step count equals pixel count, do that again. Because it shouldn't skip the first one, obviously. Okay, so what this needs to do is it needs to set trans enable to false, so it doesn't try to transition while I want it to do its thing. Okay, ready? Try one more time. That's why it's skipping the first pixel, because it goes to it's still transitioning down to 0. Oh, poop. What did I do? Oh, I set to true. False. Silly Billy. So this will never get to 0. So probably what I want to do is change my number of transitions down to 9. So actually the last transition in the 1000 will be 0, right? So let's try that again. Because I want it to get to black. I mean, I want it to turn right off. It's close, obviously, but otherwise I need to like say, okay, well, you're 0, 0, 0 now. I'd rather the transition handle it for me. There we go. Nice. Okay. It's funny, but what I really should be doing is like, I think this is okay though. Every second, yeah? Don't you think? Feels okay. All right. So that's the basic. This is going to be the basic charging loop. So if it's, 0 charge, that's the basic loop. I think that's pretty good for the first one. I got to edit this down now. So let's stop record.